In the sixth video, we will program the behavior of the user interface created in the previous video. The script can be downloaded from the link in the description, or you can pause the video to copy it. Let's get started. Let's continue editing the GameControl script. We are going to define three game objects, one for the camera, one for the menu UI, and one for the game UI. We save the changes and drag the elements from the hierarchy to their respective places in the inspector. We will define two new methods, one to start the game and one to finish it. In the start method, which comes by default, we are going to set the initial state of the elements we defined. The camera and the menu UI will be initially active, while the game UI will be inactive. When the game starts, the camera and the menu UI must be disabled, the game UI must be enabled, and also the character must be instantiated. So we move the call to the placePlayerRandomly method to the StartGame method. When the game ends, the UI must be returned to its initial state, and the character's instance, whose reference is stored in the GameObjectPlayer, must be destroyed. Now, we are going to configure the button so that when pressed, it makes a call to the StartGame method. We select it in the hierarchy and see that in the button component there is a section with the title onClick. At the moment, there is nothing defined. Click on the plus sign and drag the control object to the space that appears. By doing this, we can access all the components of that object and execute these methods. Let's go to GameControl, which is our script, and look for the StartGame method. The reason why it's not in this list is because we defined the method as private. To solve this, define it as public. Select the StartGame method and then click play to test the scene. By pressing the button, we see that it controls the camera and the interfaces, but the character is not instantiated. When we look at the placePlayerRandomly method, we see that the first thing it does is to search for all the objects that have the spawn point tag. The problem is that at the moment there is no element in the hierarchy that has this tag. To solve this, we're gonna set up a little stage with the prefabs we have got so far. We simulate again and find ourselves with the following problem. For some reason, the first-person control is not working properly. After several minutes of looking for the problem, I concluded that the reason is because in the previous video I placed the spawn point game object as a child of the gate, and this brought conflicts with the transformation component of the character. To solve this, in the line where the instance of the character is made, we change the local rotation attribute for the rotation attribute. Now I'm adjusting the size of the text that indicates the remaining time. Inside the first-person character folder of standard assets, we are going to open a script called mouseLook. In doing so, MonoDevelop crashes. When this happens, the unsaved changes are lost, so it's convenient to press Ctrl S frequently. Open the GameControl and mouseLook scripts again. Among the functions performed by mouseLook script, it captures the mouse arrow in the center of the screen and makes it invisible. The problem is that when we finish the game, we destroy the character and the cursor remains locked and invisible. To solve this, we will look for the two instructions that unlock the cursor and make it visible. We copy and paste them into the endGame method. The last thing we're going to do is to read the escape key. When pressing it, we are going to make a call to the endGame method. In this case, it's not necessary to define the method as public, as the call is made in the same context as the definition of the method. We run the simulation and that's it. In the next video, we will program the timer.